and probably the most watched game of all the quarterfinals because it is a rematch. It is one of the most prestigious stadiums in college football. It is the Rose Bowl, 5 p.m. New Year's Day on ESPN.
Oh,
The eighth ranked Buckeyes of Ohio State.
oh
They
Lord.
get the game they've been wanting. You good over there?
Oh man, I needed to have my lung cleansing. This visual helped a lot. Thank you. Thank you for creating this visual, playmaker. Oh my gosh, this is hilarious.
Hilarious. How is it hilarious?
Okay, and you know why? Let's break it down. Oregon, the best team in the country. They were number one ranked for most of this year. They let's see. The next loss they suffer in this season will be the first. They have boat raced just about every team except the one they're playing in the Rose Bowl. And yes, I am thinking about the dummy. I'm blanking on the quarterback's name.
Well, Howard,
Yeah, who decided to scramble with 6 seconds to go in the game and actually not run a play where you could set up for a field goal and you would have put the L that that Oregon should have taken against you, but your brain dead coach, along with you and your brain dead quarterback, decided opposite. So yes, I'm thinking that, but with all of that understood, Oregon's the underdog.
yep,
That is what made me laugh.
yep. 2.5 point favorites are the Buckeyes in the rematch over
That is
Oregon.
what made me laugh.
Pasadena, California. You don't have to worry about no weather over there in California.
No, most perfect weathered game of the year in all of college sport and all of football, in my opinion.
Which is crazy because out of all the spots,
Hmm.
is in that one particular spot.
Yeah, Pasadena, California. Yeah.
That one particular spot
Hmm.
in January.
Hmm. Yeah. Because I cannot ever recall seeing a rain soaked, and it's happened like once or twice in my lifetime, but I can't remember. I can't reel it off my head. A rain soaked or a cloudy or a miserable looking Rose Bowl game day. Not one. I can't reel off one. It's like the sky couldn't be more picturesque. The scene couldn't be better. The temperature couldn't be greater. I'm like, geez. I mean, I mean, the temperature's like between like 55 and 70 every single year. I'm like, how is this possible?
And you pretty much you can get take a glimpse like the grass actually kind of look like this on this post too. It's
Hmm.
beautiful grass.
Yeah,
The grass is
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. Now, of course, Playmaker and I, we lived in SEC country, so of course we know that we have decent stadiums. Well, Peach Bowl for one, Orange Bowl another, and of course we don't won't talk about Orange Bowl till next week. But in terms of just a college football setting, or I'd say football setting in general, because I really believe I really believe the NFL uh, has screwed its lunch when
Breakfast,
they
lunch, and dinner, in my opinion.
when they decided to no longer play Super Bowls in Pasadena. I'm like, shh. It may be. I mean, the 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 venue may be old. Uh, Granted, yes, it may be old and it may be round, and and it may not have the luxury boxes and all of that type of junk. But you can get a lot of people in that stadium, and you have the perfect weather conditions almost all the time there. So, yeah, of all the games, I always look forward to this one just for
Dude,
that alone.
if you're in the Big 12, they always say, what bowl do you want to be in? They usually have to pick between the National Championship and the Rose Bowl because
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, that's how big the Rose Bowl is.
Yeah, that and I mean, if you want to know how big the Rose Bowl is, especially to someone who roots for Texas, I mean Vince Young, 20 and 19 years ago, where the two best games he ever had in football, college or pro, happened to be on the Rose Bowl. The January 2005, it was a nip and tuck game against Michigan that came down to a field goal, and then he topped that by, to me, the greatest national championship game played, January 2006. And this is a storied game in a storied building, and you have now. I basically will say, although I think Michigan has probably more of the sustained history of the Big 12. Big 10. I think Ohio State has the richest of highest tradition. Like I'll put it this way, like in basketball, when you think of ACC, you think of that sustained success of Duke, but you also think about the hallmark moments of national championships that North Carolina would always have. I sort of look at Ohio State in the Big Ten lore as the one that is like the kings of the conference, and so you have the king of Big Ten football in the building that they believe is where they rule, the Rose
The
Bowl.
committee ain't for me. I know they was doing.
Mhm.
Because this is, and this not the setting that you want.
Mhm.
Oregon, Ohio State, Pasadena, California. That's what you
And
wanted.
yeah, so I'm happy for Ohio State to getting their revenge, and they're getting their revenge in a place where they feel like they own.
The
Because
place that Oregon feel like they own too, so somebody gonna
oh,
be owning it.
I was going to say they feel like they own it, and that's why I was going to flip on the other side. And here's what makes this interesting, because you have an old Pac-12 team who, when they did get a chance to play in the Rose Bowl themselves, they felt like they owned it. And then when they played UCLA every third, every fourth year, they felt like they owned them there too. So you have, I think, two programs where you might be seeing a change in the guard, where you have the blue blood that rules the Big 12 versus the new kid on the block that wants to rule it all now. And they had a great game in October, and here we are 3 months later. They get a chance to do it all over again, this time on a neutral site, this time for a bid in a semifinal, higher stakes, and the higher seed is highly disrespected.
You know what they should do? This is my opinion. Your opening, your whatever your big opening game is, should be played there. Just the opening,
Mm.
because y'all like to do neutral site games for opening week.
So the way they're doing it now, so that would be, good Lord, it used to be Labor Day weekend. Now you have to push it back to 2 weekends before. Ugh. Since we're playing college football games in the middle of August, and they count now, that wouldn't be a bad idea, because from what I understand, the weather in LA is not unbearable in August either.
I was just saying, that's the most beautiful site in college
Mhm.
football.
Yeah.
Hey, come on, man. The committee got what they wanted. The Rose Bowl is exactly the matchup that they wanted.
But I guess Vegas didn't get what they wanted, because they actually decided to make Ohio State the favorite.
So
That I find hilarious. I'm like, oh, so yeah, that's why I laughed to a cough. I'm like, they are wholeheartedly, highly disrespecting Oregon. Dan Lanning, are you playing for clicks now? Oh, I'm sorry, my bad.
not going to revisit that one, but those
Oh,
who don't know, let's go back to season 2 of Burning Down and Gridiron. Uh, you'll get why he said that because
But
somebody on this program went off.
but Ohio State, Ryan Day, your job is safe. You not only did you have a playoff victory, but you brought your team to another Rose Bowl appearance. Beautiful job, Mr. Day. Beautiful.